I actually thought he was kidding. I was like, oh, maybe it's some like smaller plateau mountain and not that one.
No, dude, that's way too high.
It was a crazy experience the first time we did it.
There is no way we hiked that. Oh, okay, he's going straight for the ground.
The very first time that I even came across a place like Panorama Ridge was we were in our lab, and a friend of ours, he told us that, oh, he's from Vancouver and then he has done this hike. And we immediately looked up the pictures and we were like, oh man, this is a place that we definitely need to go here. It was a crazy experience the first time we did it. And it was a promise to myself that we were going to come back to this place and climb this mountain again. We didn't know if it was going to be another camping trip or it was going to be just a day trip, but we just thought this place deserves a second visit. As we started planning this trip, it was a great opportunity that all of our friends, one by one, they kind of joined together, and then pretty soon it became an armada.
Look at that.
Oh my god, dude, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
You described this trip in such an awesome way that I was having FOMO at the time. To be honest, I was not completely thrilled about like hiking a mountain, okay? It's not what I do. But I knew that John really wanted to do something like that. I decided that this would be one for him. One for John.
One for John!
Yeah, I'm the keeper. No, you're the keeper. I don't know.
The day of a trip is always such a thrilling time. The anticipation of boarding a flight, running the last-minute mental checklist of all the things you might have missed, meeting up with the rest of the group, and having a tad too much faith in the baggage handlers.
It doesn't matter. Nobody's going to cut it.
I don't know about this hike.
You don't know about the hike? What do you
Let me go look. I mean, I have all the equipment. I don't know if I can get up the mountain.
You'll get it!
I don't care about your name, right?
Take up so much space.
You got the hostel's number on speed dial.
The next morning, we set off early to collect our rental gear from the same place we had rented from the last time we went on this hike, from the same guy we met at the time.
I did the Oh yeah. The early mornings, like the bears are early morning awake too. There's definitely a way higher risk of. During those hours, there's not a lot of people out. Yeah. So when you go hiking, then make sure to make more sound
noise,
and all of that. Right, and you're pretty tall guys, and you're like, except for us too.
No, actually, he's the fittest amongst all of us, to be honest.
Yeah, but we're not tall. We're fit, but not tall. But it's like the early morning, like that's the best. You get to that point where the sun comes up and sure.
So the first time we went on this hike, the place that we rented all the gear from, all the tents, all the backpacks, by the end of the trip we printed the shots we took up there, the group picture and the picture of Panorama Ridge. We printed out the pictures and gave it to the person with whom we rented. And as he was going through all the gear, explaining everything, what's in the package, I noticed that he had the two pictures in his cabinet still at the back.
Oh, that was you guys.
Those two were us 4
years
ago.
Cool. Oh yeah. How much I enjoyed that. I showed it to a lot of people.
Wow, that's really cool. No, that's awesome. That's so cool. And it was really cool to see that he still has those pictures first of all, and that those are the only two pictures that actually stuck up there. These little things, the small things like this that make things like this worthwhile. It was really cool.
It's one between two people.
What's that stuff? Okay, I'll open up these boxes.
Yes.
It's amazing. We got apple chips, banana chips, we got like granola bars, trail mix, nuts. We got some like really good pasta food like chicken Alfredo, fettuccine Alfredo for the vegetarians.
So I've labeled the meals with everyone's name and which day they're supposed to eat what. So there's day din. Dude, where the hell is my dinner day one?
Cut.
Don't have tea, right?
Another aspect of preparation which added to the entire experience was keeping each other accountable, holding each other accountable day in, day out for our fitness goals and making sure that we're all doing something in one form or the other to be better prepared physically for this hike.
Priyanka posting her workouts every day, that kind of helped me stay more on track because I was like, okay man, Priyanka is working out, you know, I gotta work out. And because we were also the only 2 women in the trip, and I started almost being able to do a push-up, which gave me a lot of motivation to keep going.
I didn't think that I was physically fit, which is why I was training so hard, because I needed to like, at least if I'm going in, then at least go in with 20%, not 0. Because if you go in with 20%, then that's just 80% of the battle that you have to conquer, and not 100%.
It was amazing to see that all the people that I personally had never actually seen be that invested, even if it was, you know, with the empty threats of every time you miss a workout, you buy everyone a coffee on the trip. We never followed through with that, mostly because people actually turned up and were working out almost every day. It was nice to see.
Okay. So if you're taking a tank top, then because you might get roll burns from the back.
Garibaldi Lake is in the heart of Garibaldi Provincial Park in the Sea to Sky region of British Columbia. The lake was formed when lava flow from Mount Price and Clinker Peak volcanoes blocked the valley 9,000 years ago. The lake itself, which sits just under 1,500 meters above sea level, is now formed by melting glacial water from the Sphinx and Sentinel glaciers. The hike is split up into 2 nights and 3 days, during the course of which we would be traveling a total distance of 31.5 kilometers and gaining over 1.5 kilometers in elevation. To put this into perspective, this is the equivalent of the height of almost 2 Burj Khalifas, 3 times as tall as the CN Tower and around 5 times as tall as the Eiffel Tower. On the first day, we would be hiking to Garibaldi Lake and setting up our base there. On day 2, we would be going up to Panorama Ridge and returning back to Garibaldi Lake. And on the last day, we would be wrapping up and heading back to the trailhead. So we just arrived at the Rebel Creek trailhead. Time is 7 a.m. We've made pretty good time. We should have left for the hike by now, but I think we're still in pretty good time. We're just going to regroup ourselves, have a bit of quick breakfast, have some snacks before we go. Weather looking okay, things are starting to clear up. I take that as a sign things are in our favor.
Honestly, I didn't do much preparation. You know, like everyone else was working out. I didn't do anything. But I mean, I just thought, you know, hiking's not too bad. I went to Peru, yeah, Machu Picchu, the previous year, and that went pretty well. And I was like, you know, I did that, probably be okay. Except a few of those hikes I used, they have like mule people, donkey people, so I knew there wouldn't be donkeys on this one, but I thought, you know, this is a lower elevation, I'll be able to breathe and I'll be able to make it. So I should have done exercise, but yeah.
So the fact that all 8 of us were here today, regardless of how difficult it's going to be, we're going to get up there and definitely make it back one way or the other. And the most alive we would have felt for a long time. We're going to have fun.
When you go off the parking lot and then like there's a left turn, right? There's like a slope for, I don't know, like 20-30 meters. Just going up that slope with the backpack on, like the heavy backpack, and you can feel the weight because you're going uphill, and thinking you have to do that for so many hours and so many hours the next day. During that time I was scared. I did not know if I can make it or not. But like after that, kept pushing through, yeah, and I didn't feel scared.
I literally went up like what, 5 minutes, and I turned to John, I said, I can't do this shit. I just can't. I'm dying. This is someone who takes the car to like a street that's 5 minutes away, okay? That was the moment when my expectations and everything was like leveling out. After that, it was just a matter of like pacing myself and going up. For me, it's not like a competition. It's just to make it there. That's it.
There's only one way up.
All right then.
Man, how can you not feel tired?
What are you talking about? I am tired. We're just about, I think, maybe 1.5 or 2 kilometers up on our trail, and we haven't even come to the fun part, which is the switchbacks. It's rained a lot in the night and probably even yesterday. You can see a lot of puddles and very wet trail. In a way, the weather is helping us. We're not feeling too tired or very thirsty, and looking forward to the next 7 kilometers.
Walk like 9 kilometers with a bag, like how hard can it be,
Okay,
right?
flexing.
You try not to think about it, because like if the moment you think about it, then you feel like all your strength is gone. So you just like don't think about it and keep going. But you don't know like how long do you have to keep going.
We've come to the switchbacks, and we're all catching our breaths as we go around switchbacks. Really surprised and pleased with how we're all doing as a group. We've trained for this, and it's going pretty good.
The first part of that trail is insane. Like you go like up a switchback, and I was like, oh shit, I have to do this for like another 4 hours.
The switchbacks were a huge challenge. It was really bad. And every time like a new switchback came, it just felt like the backpack was getting heavier, even though it wasn't. I kept pulling up the all trails map just to see when the switchback would end. And then Jamin's like, yeah, this is the last one. This last one. We go back up. He's like, yeah, no, actually, this is the last one. he's just like.
We were a manufacturing plant.
And then towards the end,
Shruti was a quality manager. I was line manager. AJ was packing.
AJ was under my team.
Packing.
AJ was shipping and packing.
Quality assurance?
Quality assurance.
Yes.
At some point, Priyanka was quality assurance too.
Yeah.
This has only 43 grams, not 50 grams.
So we've just reached the Taylor Meadows junction, and the Taylor Meadows campsite itself is closed these days because of increased bear activity. Apparently they've also closed down the Chukamus Lake area because there's one grizzly bear that's gotten accustomed to human food and has had aggressive behavior. So both trails are closed, the campground's also closed. We're going to take a short lunch break and head off soon after that.
My biggest fear was like, how am I going to fit all the shit I want to take in my backpack? That was
5 pairs of shirts, 5 leggings, 12 underwears.
Wow, we're like a 2-day hike. There's no falling back, right? Like you start, you get injured, someone else gets injured. There's no like, oh, I'm gonna call an Uber and go back home or like go to the hospital. You have to make it through. It's like a mental thing, right? You know you're in wilderness, you know like there's no electricity, anything. You just have to like somehow make it. All of that also added to the experience, and that made it all the more better because you never do something like that.
After around 6 hours of constant uphill incline, the plane finally started leveling off and we began seeing the turquoise color of the lake. We started descending to the foot of the lake where we caught a glimpse of our home for the next 2 days.
I'm just done.
It took a while to hit you that you never see something as beautiful as that, right? And suddenly like it starts you like sipping inside your body, and then I say, wow, nice. I'm glad I did that.
I know. I just had a flashback. I think I was in this
Man, oh man, that was one beautiful view. I've heard so much from you guys about Garibaldi Lake, and it totally lived up to all the hype that I've heard for the last 3 years of my life.
We scouted the campsites in the surrounding area for a good spot to set up our tents, and made some notable discoveries while we were at it. Have you been to the bog yet? They've improved by measures, man. This is high-tech bog now. So last time you would you look down like you don't look down, right? First of all, but if you look down, then you just see everything. So you see everything.
Yeah.
You see all the history of who's been here, who's not, and everything. So now what they've done is they have this kind of cover. You know how the airplane bog is?
Yeah.
You do your business, and then once you're done, there's like a pedal on the side. It kind of just flips the seal over, and you start afresh. It's brilliant, man. The
Job well done.
Yeah, I am not complaining. Like it's amazing.
The perspective is actually, it gets you. Like, you think that the mountains are close by because they are huge and massive, but then when you actually look at it, it's amazing how the perspectives can change with respect to size, and when you have a comparison, that's when you can tell the difference. And I saw those mountains in the backdrop, just the glacier melting down into the lake. I was teleported back into those 4 years ago, and then teleported back into a different dimension. The place is so magical. It's just an emotional place for me because of all the events that have happened over there, the thoughts that have come to my mind, the way I'm able to collect myself when I go there. I couldn't hold my tears. I was there sitting in front of those mountains for about half an hour. It was just me looking at the mountains, the sun setting, the beautiful orange light on the mountains. It was just a magical moment. I just let go of myself.
We were definitely tired, but we were all full of hope. Cooking dinner, sitting on that bench just by the kitchen, taking in the sunset.
You should fill this up, no?
Our spirits were really high. There were no doubts about starting the hike the next day to go up the mountain. Our tent was so small, you could barely even sit up in that. I think the humidity, the water would just condense onto the tent on the inside as well, and then the water would actually drip everywhere, almost as if it was raining all night. Backcountry, it almost seems like it's two extremes in the day and night, literally, where during the day you're enjoying nature, you're reaping the benefits, you're enjoying the rewards, while at night, that's when the challenges really come in. Every little thing you do in the backcountry at night is such a challenge.
Yeah, we were shivering when we were in the sleeping bag, and then even though we have like 2-3 layers on, then we were shivering, and then oh my god, you know. But still, I think we were too tired, and then we just make it through.
The next morning, we got up early to get a head start on the journey ahead of us, and we found out that AJ would be taking it easy and will be spending the day exploring the lake.
Injured my knee at volleyball like the week before, so that was already hurting before I even started. I didn't know if I was gonna be able to go because my knee was in pretty bad shape. I knew once I like laid down and had a sleep that over the night it would probably get worse, and which if did happen. You showed me where the peak was, and I was like, man, I don't know if my knee's gonna make it up there and back down. I wanted to go. So we gotta go back. Yeah.
For some reason, preparing for this trip, I had this thought in my mind that I was gonna do the night hike. And at some time around that time, I was watching a movie which had some soldiers training in their camp, and they had this war chant or some marching drill chant that just stuck in my brain. And somehow I was able to use that going up the mountains just as a bear call. Hopefully everybody had fun, you know, listening to some of those things, but I had a blast.
We don't want none of the business with you. Go back home, left, right, left.
Dude, she's actually good. Damn. Keep the lead position straight.
So this is where we are, right? Each brown line on the map represents some amount of elevation, 80 feet or 50 feet or something like that, right? Now, this is where we are. The junction will come up next. So you see the brown lines are so spread out that there's not much elevation from where, you know, since we started. Look, there's just been pretty chill. Then after that, once we get to, you know, climbing the ridge over here, then it starts getting more and more steeper, and then yeah, we're gonna reach the ridge. As the sun started shining, we stopped at Black Tusk Lake to have breakfast. Meanwhile, at the lake,
But I had a good time by the lake by myself. I was rediscovering how my camera worked because I forgot most of the stuff. I was kind of hoping there was, like, I saw on the Google Maps there's a trail that went like kind of south, but I went that way and like I didn't find, like, there's no trail. I just found the rangers like station and that's it. The last day for the hike down, feeling pretty good. So I'm pretty glad I took that day off, yeah.
soon after having breakfast, we started the ascent up to Panorama Ridge.
You realize how important it is when you're, a few thousand feet up with very little support system and very few Walmarts at that kind of altitude. So you really need to rely on things on your back and things around you.
It's very deceiving because every time I climbed one stretch of rocks, there was another stretch of rocks. Then when I finished that, I was like, oh, I'm almost there. It looks pretty close. And there was another stretch of rocks. And then I'm like, okay, this just seems like it's never ending. That's when I thought I wouldn't be able to do it. And those rocks were so freaking big. I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna get up. But I felt very low at that point. And I started crying because my body was giving up. I think I was just internally very determined to finish this hike because last year I did a much easier hike and I struggled 10 times more. I had no backpack. I wasn't even carrying a bottle of water and I was struggling on that hike. And that's when it hit me that I'm extremely unfit. So it was my internal challenge or struggle with myself that, okay, you cannot let yourself down. It's a competition with your last year self. Prove it to yourself that you're fitter this year, you're better this year, so try to finish this hike and you're not gonna give up.
Up until this point, I was in top physical condition, after which I don't know what happened. I think I messed up my knee somehow by putting a foot wrong somewhere. And I was in a lot of physical pain starting that point. A physical challenge for me that I had never experienced in my life before. Every step was reminding me that I have something dangling. I need to take care of this. But then I think I heard Dwayne Johnson saying that when your back is against the wall, the only way left is forwards. So it's a commitment that I'm gonna go forwards, and that was the only thought that I had in my mind, that I'm gonna go over there, have this fun experience, come back down. Looking at how people were coping with their challenges, it gave me an immense boost that, hey, you can do this. Just keep going forward, one step at a time, one rock at a time. As time just went on, you could see the mountains just kind of peeking around over the clouds, and then the clouds and the mist just kind of clearing up. You could see the layers of mountains just one behind another all around you.
We're all filled with self-doubt in some shape or form, but the way in which each of us tried to overcome these challenges, it became apparent what it represents in the bigger picture. If we just start, commit, and focus on the process, the rest takes care of itself. You realize the importance of having a support system around you and to believe in yourself.
Ultimately, when I reached the top, it was the best moment ever. I mean, I cried my eyes out because it felt that good. I just literally took a minute and I was transformed into a different dimension. I went quiet and I was still trying to decide whether it was real or not.
As we were about to reach there, you could see like part of the lake, and it was so blue, and you can tell that like when you get to the top, it's gonna be like a 360 view, and like half of it is the lake. So just knowing that and then actually going up and seeing that was also unreal. The pictures don't do that justice at all either.
From on top of the mountain, when you see the lake, it just seems like it's just some paintings, like somebody just spilled some color, and then you wonder, like, is this even real? It can't be, but then that's how nature is, I guess. You know, it's majestic, it's gorgeous, it's beautiful, it's daunting, but it's majestic.
When we reached the peak, we were surely rewarded in the form of a phenomenal view. But even greater was the gift that we'd all given ourselves in that moment. It was the gift of freedom. Freedom from self-doubt, fear, and self-limiting beliefs. The gravity of surrounding yourself with people can often go unnoticed. In the most difficult times, just being present without saying a word can be enough to keep us going. Looking at the campsite from the top, it's like only being able to connect the dots in life looking backwards. If we look at the mountain we have to climb, even the best of us will never be able to convince ourselves that we can do it. We just start with what we have and only focus on the next step.
Okay, from here, show me which one we climbed, or you can't see it, no?
We can see it. That's over there.
The second one, the second thing?
Yeah, not this one, but the second one over there.
Oh, no way. Which one? The second one, the second peak.
I believe that's
Second one.
Worse. Like the first day when we came here, we looked at this like, okay, that's the mountain we have to climb? No, we can't do this. Like we're already so dead. And then Jamin was like, guys, don't have any premeditated thoughts. Let's go have dinner. Let's go look at the sky. In the morning we'll wake up, we'll do it. Or like we'll think about it. And in the morning everybody was up for it. Like, let's do this, bro.
No, dude, that's way too high.
When yesterday when Jamin showed me that, I cannot believe you were there.
If you don't feel uncomfortable and if you're not like scared of doing something, it means you're not leveling up in life.
Clears my mind, it just brings me together, it just stitches me together when I'm there. Words can't describe the feelings that I have when I'm there.
People often wonder, why go through such an experience when you could have beautiful views for a lot less effort? When we look back at this experience, we want to be able to remember everything that went into it. Everything. All the hardships, countless hours of research, trip meetings, meal planning, and every workout. Because the moment of reaching the pinnacle isn't simply just that, it's a culmination of all that's been, all that has gone into it.
Well, I definitely would do it again. Because like what we see there and what we experience there, like 10% of what it is.
I caught the bug for backcountry camping.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. I would do it again, I would do more again, I would do like other backcountry experiences.
Yes! Bring it in, bro. Well done, man. You made it.
I don't know where I found the strength to come down, but when I made back down, again I had a complete meltdown. I sat back into the car, I knew that it's all done. Like that experience, that moment that just lives.
This place is forever going to hold a special meaning to each of us in our own way. A place that has a potency to change us in a matter of days. And reliving the experience, preserving every memory, is made possible through capturing every moment, documenting our feelings. To feel again what you felt, see what you saw, and to eternalize a moment in the form of a picture. A moment that is timeless, one that cannot change over time. Only the lessons we learn, what we take from it, and what it means to us every time we look back at it. That same moment having the ability to mean so many different things to each person, that's why I love the art of storytelling. This is my version of one hell of an adventure. Had the end goal been straightforward, none of those things would have been possible. So in truly cliche fashion, it really is the journey that determines the value of the reward at the end. The journey and the people are what make the destination worthwhile. People often wonder, why go through such an experience when you could have beautiful views for a lot less effort? I think the reason's pretty obvious.
Skies are blue, we're all here brown. You're here for the salmon, we're here for the crown. We're here, left, right, left.